From writers and critics who prophesize with your...
Hi, I'm Ryan Vasquez, and I'll be reviewing page 1 inside the New York Times and the Future of Journalism, which is a companion guide to the movie Page 1, A Year in the Life of the New York Times by Andrew Rossi. David Folkenflik is editor of 17 essays from some of the leading minds in media, all of which tackle a very important topic amongst journalists, the future of the newsroom. This journey begins in the newsroom of the New York Times, a leader not just in print journalism, but in all mediums, during the most tumultuous era in journalism. Technology is threatening the very nature of the business, as many prominent newspapers have been forced to either consolidate, wholesale slash their staff, or shutter their doors entirely. As I'm reminded of an old Bob Dylan song, the times, they are changing.
Come gather round, people, wherever you roam.
The book breaks the essays into 3 parts. Part 1, the New York Times. Part 2, the tectonic plate shift. And Part 3, how citizens and consumers can think about media. Part 1 opens up with an essay by the husband and wife documentary team behind the movie Page 1. Andrew Rossi and Kate Novak provide the backstory of making the film and how they gained unprecedented access to the Times' newsroom. From there, we navigate through 4 more essays that explore the issues facing journalism, such as the rise of other information sources like Wikipedia and online news outlets, while at the same time displaying the Times' indispensability, which is evident in the essays that handle the paper's involvement with the WikiLeaks release. This section ends with an essay by Jennifer Eight Lee, who during her years at the Times pushed the paper against its own traditions and instincts to reinvent itself and explore new avenues of reporting. Here she discusses getting the paper to embrace blogs and, more in general, the digital sensibilities it would need to survive going forward in the digital market. This is where the tumultuous nature of this era comes through, as new technology and advances in media happen at such a rapid rate. Knowing when and how much to adapt can be rather costly and treacherous for a news outlet. This transitions us to Part 2, the tectonic plate shift. Essentially, the Times will have to move away from its long ingrained tradition of providing a newspaper to readers, which is something it has done for decades. The essay, The Deal from Hell from James O'Shea, takes a look at why newspaper companies like his former bosses, the Tribune Company, are failing in this new digital age. I find it interesting and rather truthful that he lays blame at the industry's reaction to the changes rather than the changes themselves. This leads us to who should pay for journalism, a panel discussion including the editor, which touches on a question that public radio people deal with as a way of life. How do you get readers who used to pay for this to pay for something they can get for free on this? In the next few essays, the writers discuss how the definition of news is shifting and how people consume the news. Also, an exploration of helping journalism to survive by doing things that seem counter to long-held practices, like focusing on explanatory journalism rather than breaking news.
And keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again.
Where Part 1 signaled what is dooming media, and particularly print, and Part 2 focused on what the industry can do to fix it, Part 3, how citizens and consumers can think about the media, takes a look at the issue through the consumer's eyes. The segment opens with investing in the future of news and why local journalistic efforts and a presence on the web are important. And a topic near and dear to my heart, Peter Osnos looks at the surprising rise and challenges facing national public radio. As we preach in our fund drives every year, NPR is getting stronger and expanding at a time where other news outlets are doing the opposite. This essay explores why that is and why NPR at times can court scorn. A testimony from Secretary of State Hillary Clinton follows regarding a shift towards recognizing outlets like Al Jazeera, and the book closes out with essays on equipping readers with news literacy so they can navigate this new media world themselves. And a conclusion with an essay by Geneva Overhauser on why news belongs to the public. And ultimately, that is the truth. This book points out how the success of the media really lies in the hands of those who consume the media. This collection of essays brings about a good and real discussion on why journalism is struggling, how it can right the ship, and what the future holds for journalism. I especially recommend this book for journalists, being one myself. But as a consumer of news, as we all are in some way, this book is a fascinating read into an often overlooked yet essential part of our lives, and that's the way we are informed.
Oh, the times they are a-changin'.